Hello, GOAT format duelists. This is a follow-up to my ritual deck profile. A lot of people in the comments, they're saying, hey, I like the deck, but I want to see some games. So that's exactly what we're going to do today, folks. I'm going to show you some nice, cool gameplay footage with this deck. Spoilers, some Zorcs did get summoned. And before I go into those duels, though, I want to talk about some changes that I made. I did decide to go with 2 Raigeki Break, 2 Wing Blast, no card destruction. I actually think I ended up liking this ratio a bit. I think it's very close as far as which is better, Raigeki Break or Wing Blast. I think Wing Blast is slightly better. I think you could make the case for going 3 Wing Blast, 2 Raigeki Break, but for these duels, this is the ratio that I went with. I also changed the side a bit. It occurred to me that against Warriors, Warriors are really great at dealing with set monsters, and we've got those 2 Faith, 2 Dakochi. Not super strong against Warriors, can be good if we can protect them, of course, but I figured, why not just side those out for just 3 Zumbrea and a Tsukiyomi? Tsukiyomi, of course, that can run over basically any Warrior monster, and Zumbrea, of course, very good versus Warriors. And even though, yes, we are siding out the flips, Tsukiyomi does still work with Manju. So, yeah, I decided to go with that. Pretty minor changes overall, so let's go ahead and get into these duels. Welcome to GOAT Duels, I'm ACP. Let's get into these matches. So what I did here was I wanted one match of GOAT Control, Chaos, and Warriors to show you guys, because those are the top 3 decks. Those are the 3 decks that you're most likely to see at any given time. Didn't want to give you matches against random tier 3 decks like Water or Zombies or that sort of thing. So I played matches until I got to play against all 3 of those decks. That was 11 matches. I actually ended up winning all 11 of those matches in rated. However, they were all pretty close. But it is interesting that I did go undefeated. Although, to be fair, this deck, yes, it's a ritual deck, but it's mostly a Chaos deck, and I do have a lot of experience playing with Chaos. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. Alright, so our opponent's going first, sets a bunch of cards, dust shoots our Sinister, and he Torrentials to clear our Dakochi. Pretty much just Sengen starts going on the beatdown. And we got a couple of Jar Green set. So yeah, we're gonna draw some cards. Gonna draw a lot of cards. Yeah, so we actually just end up going for game here. So this is just enough for game if the Zorc goes through. 5 out of 6 chance. And it does go through. The nice thing about going for this right now is that so few people play Book of Moon in GOAT format right now. If everyone was running like 3 Book of Moon, I probably wouldn't go for that play. But, since the meta is what it is, I did go for a game and it worked. We OTK'd with Zorc. And yeah, that is kind of the nice thing about that card. Sometimes it lets you do that. So yeah, we're just trying to pressure our opponent here, poke for some damage. This deck is really good at doing that. It's great at just poking with Manjus for a while. People don't want to kill it because it's already gone +1. So that's kind of cool there. Yeah, he does duo us. We've got a bunch of garbage. And yeah, he torrentials the board here again. Yeah, does the same play from game 1 actually. Just torrential pre for Sengen. Yeah, we got those Zorcs again. Got those Zorcs. Note that we did have the contract face down. Maybe hoping to bait like an MST or something. But no such luck. Yeah, he banishes our guy and Suku's and attacks for a bunch. Yeah, Snatch gets solemned. So yeah, I decided to just go for Zorc here. But we roll a 6 and kill our whole board. So if we had just gotten the 5 out of 6 again, we probably would have killed him. But we got unlucky, so we ended up dying. I mean, that's how it goes sometimes, I'll take a 5 out of 6 chance to win the game. You can't really be mad. You can't really be mad. So yeah, I think for this match, our opponent was on goat control, although it's kind of hard to tell. We'll see. So yeah, he duo hits our snatch and cross out, leaves us with the cross out in hand. So yeah, it was kind of obvious that this was Faith, because when we crossed out the Faith, he didn't banish the other one. So we just used Raigeki Break on the Faith. And yeah, and we ended up just attacking for game here. So yeah, I believe this was goat control. So that was why I put it in here. And if we go show both, yeah, he had like meta, DMOC, and BLS. He had 3 dead cards in his hand at the end there. So that's kind of unfortunate draws for him, to be honest. But yeah, sometimes goat control can just kind of brick like that. It is a thing that happens. So all right, on to the next match. So for our next match here, we have, I believe this is Warriors. So we're gonna see how this one goes. Our opponent wins the die roll, this classic Blade Knight set 5, but it's no big deal, you know? It's no big deal, really. Solemn trades with the heavy. We set our back rows. He hits the torrential. He plays around Mirror Force, which is actually kind of nice on his part. Set the Faith just for the light, but he goes for the cross out into pre to go for big damage and make his discard. You know, might have also thought that we had like a spy set, and maybe that's why he crossed out. So yeah, pretty nice trade there with Manju. We banish the Blade Knight. He gets another Blade Knight. He goes for big damage again. We're both basically at no life points now, so it's a top decking war, and we lose the top decking war. On to game 2. So we lost that one, but that was really anyone's game. Very fast game. Yeah, a little obvious that he has Torrential set there when he just sets one back row versus our Zumbrea. I mean, it could be like a Saku, but, you know, very likely to be Mirror Torrential. Our Breaker did get Solemn. That was kind of a lose-lose situation for him there. We searched Manju just because we want the light. We go ahead and crash to put the light in our grave. And we drop a Chaos Monster, banish this guy. Pretty nice setup here, Zorc plus Wing Blast. He dash shoots, sends back our BLS, but we're lucky and we top deck Pod Agreed. Have the second Chaos Monster anyway. And yeah. So yeah, kind of another very fast game there. He was setting monsters, but note that obviously crossout wouldn't be good just because he set up Blade Knight. Someone said that in the comments of my video about siding out crossout against Warriors. They're like, no, you shouldn't, because they might set a DD Warrior Lady. I'm like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Anyways. Going for some poke damage with Manju. This deck is great at going for poke damage. If that's what you want to call it. Because, yeah, now we're just, like, attacking with these Manjus. Even if he has, like, a Mirror Torrential, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. He tries to attack over our Manjus. We have the Saku, which is sided in. And, yeah, now he's getting very desperate. Trying to just not die to these Manjus. And we can summon Zorc at any time. You know, that's kind of our insurance policy this game. You know, if things get out of hand, if he drops like a BLS, we just go boom, Zorc, kill it. And yeah, he had a bunch of dead crossouts. Kind of funny, almost like the goat control match we won. In game 3 at the end, he had a bunch of dead cards in his hand, and so did this guy. But this kind of shows here that our strategy of just siding out all of our flip monsters post-board, I think it actually works pretty well against Warriors, you know? I mean, just gives them a bunch of dead cards. I think he had Mystic Swordsman this game, too. Obviously, Blade Knight's still a good card against us, but Mystic Swordsman cross out, not so much, not so much. So, on to our last match. For our last match here, we've got a Chaos Mirror, and yes, I am playing Zorc, but a Chaos Mirror is still a Chaos Mirror. It was, if I recall correctly, a very close match. Very exciting match. So let's see what happens here. We do get to go first, which is nice, and we open Thunder Dragon Graceful, which is also nice, you know? Doesn't matter if you're playing rituals, it's still a great opening nonetheless. Yeah, we get his monster out of there. Take some damage from Sangan. Our opponent has his Thunder Dragon. And we drew Contract Zorc with no Manjus yet, which is kind of not really the order that we want to draw those cards in. He has pretty strong Graceful. He pokes a Sangan. One thing that I want to talk about, actually, is that these Chaos Mirrors a lot of times are a poke battle, in the sense that you attack with these small monsters like Sangan, Dakochi, Spies, and you're just kind of doing that until someone plays a real threat, and then you use your Chaos Monsters to get rid of that threat. So I feel that playing Manju can give us a bit of an edge in those poke battles, but the problem is this game we drew our Manju targets instead of the Manju. So yeah, our opponent is just kind of doing a little draw pass. Our hand is okay. You know, our opponent played card destruction, which did help him, but it also helped us a little. But he's definitely still ahead. Definitely still ahead this game. He does have more cards than we do. Heavy gets activated, jars get chained. It's often how Heavy works in these matchups. He has Attack Our Faith. Yeah, we just go ahead and duo now that the Sinister's gone. He has the Assailant, gets back his Faith. I decided to go for big damage, but it's not quite enough for game. Puts him at 200. Set our jars. Our position looks pretty threatening here. We're at 6,000 is 200. I mean, the life points do matter. It does mean that he can't duo us. It does mean that he can't ring us. He does kill our whole board, though. But all we have to do is just attack over one of these guys. But, you know, we don't really have it right now. So yeah, he end phase hits our Torrential. Maybe we should have like set a cross out with the Torrential as well. But yeah, he plays a bunch of Chaos Monsters and kills us. On to game 2. We are going first again. Our hand is bad average. The Dakochis get banished. The Thunder Dragon gets discarded. It is unfortunate that he has fuel for his discard traps and we don't right now, but hey, we just need some time, you know? So yeah, we're gonna keep banishing guys. Note how big his banish pile is right now. He is going to have a hard time summoning Chaos Monsters this game. And that is definitely a big advantage for us. Chaos Mirrors often can come down to who uses the graveyard as a resource better. And I feel like we have the lead in that department so far. We also kind of have the lead in the poke damage department. The Spy doesn't have a target. We banish the Spy. He only has one light in his grave. However, he does manage to put the Dark by crashing into our Manju. He Sorks our Sorc. But we're just gonna Mind Calm the Sorc, and now he's got nothing in his grave again, right? So we, you know, neither of us have anything in our grave. We do have the light in play. We are just gonna Wing Blast to keep going for poke damage, though, because that is really what these mirrors are all about. We are a little behind on cards, but we are super ahead in life, and that sort of thing does matter, especially when we draw a ring. So yeah, now we're just trying to get through that last bit of damage. He rings our guy. If he doesn't, his ring will probably be dead for the rest of the game, so didn't leave him with much of a choice there. And we set up kind of a cool win con. So yeah, he does have the book, but we Raigeki break the book, he chains it, we chain ring. That is game. So we were able to get through that last bit of damage. Just shows that life points can really matter in these Chaos Mirrors, right? Like, if we had activated an Upstart Goblin that game, for example, I don't think we could have won. Just because we wouldn't have been able to get through that last bit of damage. Just something to note. So we're gonna Dust Shoot, send back his Breaker, I guess. So yeah, he kills our Dakochi, but we have the Manju again for the poke damage. Manju Wing Blast can be pretty strong because, you know, we're just gonna keep poking him. You know, we kind of see that he's not really doing anything, so we just Wing Blast the back row to keep attacking. He upstarts us. This is pretty even game, I think. Well, not anymore, because we BLS this guy. And it just comes down to... there must be some visual glitch there. Because he did set a monster, he did banish it with BLS. And yeah, we win the game. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope these matches did sort of showcase how the deck works. Also, a little bit showcased why Zorc could be so good in that goat control matchup in particular. Although I don't think Zorc is necessarily super strong in the Chaos Mirror. But yeah, thanks for watching, and if you missed it, be sure to go back and watch that deck profile video of this cool ritual deck.